Have you ever been so desperate for sleep, so tangled in your own restless mind, that even the soft patter of rain couldn't save you? Tonight, if nothing else works, let me tell you a story. Not just any story, but one that drips with unease. A slow spiral into fear and madness. Turn off the lights, pull the blanket tighter, and press play, because sleep may not be the only thing slipping away. The channel's voice welcomed listeners back or greeted new wanderers, inviting them to stay, to relax, to give the soothing rain sounds a chance if nothing else had worked before. There would only be 3 ads. They promised, all placed early, so nothing would disturb the long descent into whatever awaited them next. Then the story began. The Black Rock Chapel Horror. An elder priest sat behind the blind of the confession booth, waiting. A youth knelt beyond it, trembling, his hands clasped so tightly that the creaking of his wooden chair echoed into the silence. The priest asked softly, "Have you come to relieve your burden unto the Lord?" Silence answered him. Experience taught him patience. 17 years had shown him that confessions needed to ripen under the weight of guilt. The boy whimpered, his voice a shredded whisper. "No, no forgiveness." The elder priest offered reassurance. The boy only shook harder. "No salvation, no savior. I have done their bid. Father, I did their bid, and I am debased." The priest, unnerved but composed, urged him onward, but the boy's tone deepened into something darker. "My eyes were open to the truth. Long ago, they showed me the truth." "Who are they?" The priest asked carefully. "The true messengers." The boy rasped, "Through them, you will see the truth." The priest's skin crawled. Blasphemy. And yet, he kept listening, the boy's voice tangling itself deeper into some unseen madness. Suddenly, a maiden's soft weeping stirred him. She had finished her confession, though he hadn't heard a word of her sins. Still, he absolved her, assigning penance with a warm smile he could barely muster. Moments later, another priest, Father Edwards, entered quietly. Caraway, battling a sickness he could not name, tried to wave off concern with a joke. But as Edwards left, doubts gnawed deeper. The morning stretched into a fevered haze of pain and muttered prayers, until a scream shattered the stale air. Father Caraway rushed from his bed despite his illness. Up the spiral stairs he went, where he found a young sister cowering, her face buried in her hands. He reached for the door. A blast of rot hit him as it creaked open, the stench of death. Coughing, gagging, he forced himself into the bell tower, crossing himself, mumbling prayers with a tongue too heavy to wield them properly. A voice called after him, "Father Caraway, are you all right?" It was Edwards again. Caraway couldn't answer. His heart thudded violently against his ribs. Sweat poured down his back. Then he saw them. Serpents. Everywhere. Squirming. Slithering. Sinking their fangs into flesh. Caraway tried to cry out, but venom flooded his veins. He stumbled back, clutching his crucifix, only to slip and crash down the stone steps into darkness. He woke into a nightmare, not in the bell tower anymore, but trapped in a vision. Laughter horrible, mocking laughter rang out around him. A phantom maiden writhed before him, serpents violating her body in grotesque ecstasy. The sights and sounds blurred into one ocean of agony. "There is no forgiveness," she screamed. "There is no salvation." Caraway tried to block it out, squeezing his eyes shut, covering his ears, but the horror pressed closer, whispering poison into his soul. When he opened his eyes again, he found Sister Meredith, not the phantom, standing over him, tears in her eyes. "You're awake," she sobbed. "I thought you were lost forever." Father Caraway barely understood her words. His head was drowning in black madness. What could he do? What power had he left? Slowly, he dragged himself to a mirror near the bed. The candlelight flickered, and there, staring back at him, his own reflection grinned with malevolence. No, no, it wasn't him. He squeezed his eyes shut, prayed, begged, but the reflection only decayed further, whispering blasphemies, driving iron nails deeper into his soul. Blood streamed from the wounds of Christ's image on the wall. The air reeked of brimstone, and still, Carraway stumbled on. He and Sister Meredith journeyed to a small stone cottage, seeking help from Archbishop Marcus. The Archbishop listened gravely. He told them the ground beneath Black Rock Chapel had never been pure. The evil was older, deeper, and their pride had blinded them to it. They had driven away the gypsies, the only ones who could have contained the darkness. Too late did they realize the evil had rooted itself in the chapel stones, in the soil, in their souls. The Archbishop showed them a cursed book, its pages filled with anguished illustrations, twisting serpents, screaming faces, a towering black stone at the heart of it all. Father Carraway felt horror claw at him. The Archbishop wept openly. He confessed that it was their own arrogance, their hatred, that had unleashed the evil. There was no forgiveness now, only penance through fire. Screams erupted outside. The villagers fled as monstrous things tore through the chapel. Inside, amid the ruins, Carraway faced the truth. There was no salvation, only endless suffering, only serpents, only the writhing, black thing that had once been Father Edwards. Carraway fought back with what little strength remained. He ignited himself and the chapel with the sacred flame, setting the serpents ablaze, purging them at least for now. As he staggered from the inferno, he met a stranger cloaked in darkness. The stranger smiled coldly, his teeth too white, his robe too black. "You wouldn't happen to be a priest, would you?" he asked, voice slick with a malice that could not be disguised. Carraway had no answer, only the ringing memory of a chapel consumed by fire, and the lingering certainty that true evil never dies.